So now the arrival of the former First Lady at the Drug Enforcement Commission was met by confusion, and it is believed that part of it is because of you. Do you agree with that?
Well, it appears so. It appears so that I was a person of interest, among so many people, and it's quite interesting. I really don't understand why.
Were you, informed why you should not be there personally?
No, I was not. I was not informed. They didn't tell me anything. But they strongly insisted that they had instructions that I should get out of the car. But the way what I got was that I was supposed to if I had gotten out, they were supposed to pick me up and take me wherever they wanted. That was the what I got, is that they wanted to arrest me. For what reason, I don't know.
Let's understand also how you managed to handle the situation, because you didn't leave the car. How did that manage to be resolved, despite their insistence that you shouldn't be in that vehicle, you shouldn't get in?
Well, you see, look, the point is that the former president has got a way that he moves. Okay, the former president usually has got 3 vehicles. It's by standard. There must be a security vehicle in front. There must be a security vehicle behind him. And in that entourage, I was part of President Edgar Lungu's people. So, he refused that. No, he's part of the people that I'm with. You can't dictate who I should move with. Mm-hmm. So, by that, and they couldn't break the car as much as they were trying to force it, but they couldn't break the car. And the driver had locked up the doors.
Now, you found yourself in very similar, positions. Last time something like this happened was in 2020, when the opposition leader HICHILEMA was summoned by the police, and because you had reported him. So Mr. HICHILEMA received solidarity from many UPND sympathizers, but this led to the unfortunate death of 2 people. Do you commend government today with the way yesterday's processions were handled by the Zambia police?
First and foremost, let me make it very clear, because propaganda has gone that I reported him. I didn't report him. That incident is not my report. That incident which he was called, it is not me that reported him. It's a pity that people don't want to verify these things. They would have verified. It's not my report. But anyway, with the way that the police handled the situation yesterday compared to how they handled it when President HICHILEMA was called, I commend the police. Yesterday, I think they did a good job, frankly speaking, apart from my single incidents. But the whole thing, I think, was done professionally. We had some UPND cadres who had the courage even to beat on the former president's vehicle, which was quite unfortunate, and that shouldn't have happened. And one person was arrested. I think that is also good. Others would have said, no, they would have arrested all those UPND, but I think it would have been a mess. So from my point of view, the police conducted themselves quite well, apart from my single incidents and this guy hitting in, a former president's vehicle. So that is my take.
You mentioned being part of former President Edgar Lungu's team going there, but how necessary do you think it is for generally leaders to move with an entourage of people like that? Yes, you can understand for the security detail that the police, that the former president want to go with, but having all those members of parliament coming through, party supporters, why do you think it's so necessary?
Yes, this one, I'm one of those people. If you go back, I'm one of those people who is against leaders going, to answer whatever charges, with a lot of people. I'm against. Even myself, I don't go to police with, you have never seen that. This one, even myself, I was part of it. It is because this was perceived as an injustice. This incident was perceived as persecution on President Edgar Lungu and his family. And this is why, even myself, I was part of it. It was a protest to say you cannot continue doing this to the first family. That is the difference. It is protesting against what we perceive to be an injustice, to be persecution on President Edgar Lungu and his family. And you might ask to say, but why are you saying this? Look, ever since President Edgar Hakainde Hichilema came in, he has always been attacking unprovoked Edgar Lungu. He has criminalized Edgar Lungu. And, I mean, they're just on him all around. And this is why this man has even said, come on, if really there is something that I've done, come on, take out even the immunity so that I can defend myself. Because when you are being attacked in public, you are being tried and convicted in public without you saying anything. It is unfortunate. It is not right. It is a protest. And if it continues, I, as Chilufya Tayali, I, for one, I will always stand with Edgar Lungu.
You talk about ever since he came into office, but if we're being realistic, he started this even before he came into office. As an opposition leader, he was very critical about the decisions that then President Edgar Lungu made. So it definitely didn't start when he became president. And on top of that, I mean, this is a family of a man who was administering public resources, was at the helm of government that is handling public resources. So what is expectation from you as opposition leaders in terms of how the investigative wings should move? If they have any tip or any information that suggests that this could be proceeds of crime, suspected to be proceeds of crime, how do you expect them to handle this? Is it because they're the former first family, they should be left to not be investigated?
First of all, there is nothing like shielding them from being investigated. They are not above the law, not at all. So this is not the point. And I have seen a lot of people to say, no, what is wrong? No. We are not shielding them from being investigated, from being questioned. We are not shielding them from that. And you say he has been saying this even when he was in opposition, as if it is a justification, because he started it when he was in opposition, so he should continue. No, it is wrong for him to have said it when he was in opposition. It is wrong, especially now that he's a Republican president, because when you are a Republican president, everything changes. You are the Republican president. You are supposed to protect every citizen, especially a former head of state. So you cannot be convicting a former head of state in public, and yet, I mean, you are not bringing the evidence.
So, Mr. Tayali, the question still stands that you need to answer is, how do you propose that these persons of high profile who are suspected of these crimes should be treated?
No.
How do you want these cases to be handled?
Nothing but professionalism. Nothing but professionalism. That's what we are asking. And I can run you through this incidents of Esther Lungu, for example, where we feel that this is nothing but persecution. It is unprofessionalism. Number one, they came out to say this property, I mean, there are no documents to this property in terms of where it is located and so on and so forth. Then they said, we don't know who Esther Nyawatembo. We found out this by the meter, Zesco, whatever. And then they concluded to say it is a proceed of crime. Now, right there, if you are really critical, you will see unprofessionalism. In the first instance, they are saying that this property has got no documentation, and yet this property has got title deeds. And if they were doing a professional job, they would have found out that there is a title to that land. I went to Ministry of Land and I got a printout which showed me the details of that. If I got it myself as a public person, how come DEC did not get it?
Well, the information they had is that it was located elsewhere, not where it is.
No, nothing.
That's what they were
nothing.
saying.
Go there after this program. Go there and you will see it is in Lusaka under what is this? What is it? Chongwe district. So it is there, and those details are there. So clearly they were not being professional. Number two, they said Esther Nyawatembo. They don't know who that is. My dear, Francesca here. There could be so many, you know, Francesca Piri, there are many in this country. But if an investigative wing is investigating, they would not fail to say, no, this is Francesca from Diamond TV. By the fact that they were saying, no, we don't know, I mean, that is unprofessional. Then second, the other point, look, they don't know who the owner is, And they go with a battalion of, police officers, the media, and, put up a spectacle that this is a proceed of crime. If you are saying you don't know the owner, how can you say this is a proceed of crime? You don't know the owner. Because that owner, that Esther Nyawatembo, could have been a girlfriend of, Bill Gates. Who knows? Bill Gates is not married now, So he may have a girlfriend in Zambia. So how do you conclude it is a proceed of crime?
But again...
And professionalism.
When you say a conclusion, because from what these investigative wings, they use the word suspected to be proceeds of crime. And it's not the conclusion, because either way, they don't have the right to conclude. That it's only through prosecution that you can make a conclusion.
If you are professional, you are investigating, somebody, you do it, discreetly. Until you are confident that, yes, now here there is a prima facie case. By the fact that I'm suspecting that you are going out with that girl, I've got no right to come here and say it is alleged that you are going out with so and so. I must have at least some evidence, because just by you saying that, you put this person in the public opinion that is already a criminal. Already what the people think is that Esther Nyawatembo, or the former first lady, has stole money to build up those properties. But for goodness sake, 15 properties for a former first lady, honestly?
But don't you think it's through these investigations that we have all these former public officials or those affiliated to them to clean themselves out, to actually prove that this property was acquired legitimately?
Absolutely. But don't convict them in public. Because when you convict them in public, it becomes difficult for them to clean themselves up. So do your investigation professionally. If you see that there is something that I have, call me up. And don't say, no, we don't know which Chilufya Tayali is. Then you are not being professional. Because if you are being professional, you will find out which Chilufya Tayali is. Under that ZESCO bill that they were talking about, where they got the details of Esther Nyawatembo, I'm sure there is an NRC. I'm sure there is a phone number. I'm sure there is the address. There are all these details. They would have gotten them. But because it is not professional, because it's persecution, because it is to embarrass the former head of state, they go with the media to seize the property and they make a spectacle. We have gotten this and so on and so forth. This is why we are saying no, and this is why we followed them to accompany them, because these people, these are not criminals. These are people, these are victims. And for victims, you stand with them.
So now the Drug Enforcement Commission has seized the property, and they say that the investigations are still ongoing. What are your comments on that?
It is just embarrassment. It is just embarrassment. Because I had the privilege. I went to, I sat with the first lady, the former first lady. So I even looked at the documents and even the communication. One of the communications, as they were going, they asked them to say, come with the proof of your title deeds. Come with the plans. This is what they asked for. This is what they asked for. And even the questions, they were based on that. So what more do they want? What more could be there? Because the title is there, the plans is there, everything is there. So what more do they want? What are they investigating? The problem is when you culminate these investigations into politics, because the president, what is happening in this country at the moment is that the president is convicting people in public. And now the investigative wings, SEC, they have to fit into the narrative. The president has found this person guilty. So they also have to do their job to fit in the narrative of the president. So they don't have anything, but they are scared. How are they going to go to the president and tell him to say, no, Mr. President, there is nothing here. So now, no, the investigation is still going on. There is nothing.
Let's conclude with your relationship with the sixth Republican president, because last time we checked, you, Mr. Tayali, got arrested just before the general elections last year. And you've been a man who's been quite critical, of the current government. You've also been critical of the previous regime. And one would think, because of the events from last year, there would be a certain change in your relationship with the sixth Republican president. What's the state of that now?
Welcome to the public lawyer, a man who is objective. As far as President Edgar Lungu, me being arrested and everything, believe you me, I am upset and I don't take it. And whatever, I don't take away anything, what I said. I don't take away anything. But in this instance, the man is being persecuted. is being persecuted. Me as a Christian, a Chilufya Tayali who goes to church every day in the morning, I don't have to look at to say, no, this man did this to me. I need to stand with him. And even HICHILEMA, he was arrested for treason. I was all over. I was even here defending him, fighting that HICHILEMA is released. That is Chilufya Tayali. I'm objective.
But don't you find it ironic? Because when you arrested, you also kind of described it as persecution, because you felt it wasn't the right thing, and you're just being harassed at that particular time.
So because it was persecution to me, I should also allow persecution on him.
Don't you find ironic that you are being persecuted under his leadership, and now here is tables have turned, and he is alleging that it's persecution now? Don't you think that is the hypocrisy he was talking about?
Two wrongs don't make a right. And as far as I'm concerned, as Chilufya Tayali, as a public lawyer, I don't look at to say, no, because he did this. Let's look at that separately. If Edgar Lungu did something wrong, let's look at that and condemn it. Let us not bring up something that he has not done and touch his wife. No, just because he arrested me, even me now, I should come on TV. Yes, yeah, 15 flats. What? No.
So
no.
Have you had any conversations with him about what happened?
About what happened where?
Last year.
About
you being arrested and you feeling you're being persecuted?
Usually for me, I am not a man that unravels the wrongs of the past. That is not being a good human being. A human being, if we have issues today, tomorrow, let's not talk about the negatives. Let's move on. If we can sit and have a cup of tea, that's okay.
You said you're still upset, so maybe for your own closure, you'd probably want to talk about it.
No. It's not. I don't say I'm still upset like I have a thing against him. No. It is to say that was upsetting indeed. But in terms of moving on, I've moved on, and at the moment we have a very good relationship. And it's not that I'm going to go back and start this. Even HICHILEMA, I can tell you. Even HICHILEMA, I mean, I've been arrested 3 times. 3 times. If today HICHILEMA is out of power, which I think is coming very soon, I will definitely, and is being persecuted, I will definitely stand with him. I will definitely stand. I'm one of those who is calling that HICHILEMA shouldn't even reach 2026 because he has failed. But if he comes out, tomorrow he comes out and is being persecuted, I will come and defend him.
So now moving on, you stood alongside the former Home Affairs Minister, Stephen Kampingo, yesterday, who in 2020 was against people showing solidarity to suspects. Yet, yesterday, he made his way to the Drug Enforcement Commission. What do you say about his credibility?
Well, it is also very much how we look at these things personally. So from my point of view, really, what I'm talking about here is my personal point of view. If really I believed that Esther Parika criminality party, I wouldn't have gone there. So for Kampiongo, he may have to speak for himself. I mean, if he thought those were maybe he thought these people have got issues, I mean, that's him. But from my point of view, those even now, there are some PF. You don't see me accompanying them. You don't see me. Because I'm suspecting to say, there might be something here. But Pariwa Esther, apata pari up.